Federal funding for public health as a whole serves as an augmentation to what organic funds would be available. It allows you to enhance your capacities, scale them up to achieve what potentially you might need. When I look at preparedness and I look at preparedness funding, there are multiple streams where money can come in, but it's been decreasing consistently over the last 20 years in the total value. The greatest challenge with the loss or the decline in federal dollars is you're slowly ticking away at capacity and capability at state level government and local level government, that there are no other dollars to replace the loss of federal funding. Now, a lot of public health jurisdictions, their entire personnel base is on grant dollars, federal grant dollars. So as those monies decrease over time, you're in the position of laying off personnel, which means you're laying off your potential capacity to do a response. You're laying off a potential capability that if I lose a person that is really good with data analytics, now I have someone that comes in that's got only 5 years experience, they can do it, but they weren't at the same level as the individual that was lost. If we look at the COVID pandemic, we were looking at the exponential growth of symptomatic or infectious clients. For Chicago, our curve was like this. We were doubling every 4 days. We were looking at a potential impact of 40,000 people needing critical care due to the virus. We had 9,000 acute care beds. 40,000 minus 9,000 is a shortfall of 31,000 beds. Without that bolus of federal dollars, we would not have been able to build a 3,000 bed facility, multiple levels of care from just palliative care all the way up to critical care. It could not have been done. Preparedness is really not the sexy thing. Response is sexy because you see the lights, the sirens, you see the tragedy. If it bleeds, it leads on the media. That's all you see. All you see is the horror show. What the public doesn't understand is the horror show you're seeing could be exponentially larger if people hadn't done procedures, had not done joint training and exercises, had not built up the things in the background, the stuff that's not omnipresent. One of the questions that comes up is reactive funding versus proactive funding. Proactive funding is intended for you to forecast out into the future, to plan, prepare, build systems, capacities, capabilities, so that you can react as needed. Reactionary funding, the tragedy has already occurred, and now we're throwing a whole bunch of money at it to mitigate the impact. If you only look at reactive funding, you've already missed the curve. You're already in the middle of crisis. Whereas preparedness funding is building your capability to limit the impacts when an incident occurs. What Callan helps do is say, why don't we leapfrog through time? So we're going to buy incremental buys over the course of multiple years, so you always have 100% of inventory that's good to go, but you know 2 years from now, you're going to need to do an N95 or a surgical mask procurement. We'll give you a forecast cost. The idea is getting people to think into the future, and then the scenario development of, if I have this and these 29 terrible things happen, you already have a tool in the toolbox. So one of the components of my job here at Callan JMB under government affairs and emergency preparedness and planning is to provide a portfolio to future clients that may be lacking in plan development, may be lacking in policy and procedure structure on how they would implement a response action. So my experience can bring to them the discussion on, you know this, you're not sure about that, let's educate.